He swore the test was wrong, while she rocked my baby in our living room. I was still holding the envelope when she walked in. No knock, no text, just her, Amanda, his ex, her arms full of toys like she lived there. And the worst part, my husband, Drew, didn't look surprised. He didn't even look confused, just tired. Let me back up 20 minutes. I'd ordered the paternity test out of pure paranoia, not because I doubted my son was Drew's, but because Drew had planted the seed months ago, whispering things like, "Are you sure you weren't already pregnant when we got back together? And the timing's kind of close, babe." At first, I laughed. Then I cried. Then I did the math, over and over again, until the doubt wasn't just his, it was mine too. I mailed it in while he was out of town, and when the results came back, I ripped the envelope open in the kitchen, hands shaking, our baby asleep in the nursery. 99.9999% match. Drew was the father. I should have felt relief, but all I felt was fury. He made me believe something so insane, so cruel, that I tested my own child. He made me question my body, my memory, my entire timeline. And for what? I stormed out of the kitchen, envelope still in hand, only to freeze mid-step as the front door swung open. Amanda, standing in the hallway like she belonged there, with that smug, "I told you so" look women save for moments like this. "What the fuck?" I snapped. She didn't flinch. She just walked past me and started unloading a diaper bag, her diaper bag, onto our couch. Drew followed 2 seconds later. "Hey," he mumbled. "She's just here to drop something off." Amanda pulled out a pacifier, and then she picked up our son. She picked up my baby like she had done it 100 times, like she'd done it yesterday. My whole body went cold. "Put him down," I said, low and shaking. Amanda looked at Drew. Drew looked at me, then at the test results in my hand. His face drained. "You did it?" he said quietly. I nodded. "So?" he asked. I held the paper up like a weapon. "You're the father, exactly like I told you, exactly like you knew." Amanda didn't say anything. She was too busy rocking the baby side to side, humming like this was a reunion, not a home invasion. "You need to leave," I said, "now." She didn't move. I said, "She's staying for dinner," Drew cut in. My brain short-circuited. "I made pasta," he added. "It's already on." "Why the hell would you invite her over?" "I didn't invite her. She came because—" He stopped himself. "Because what?" I demanded, but Amanda beat him to it. "Because I was here first." My mouth went dry. "I raised him before you did," she said, eyes on the baby. "When you left, I was the one who stayed. Drew needed help. I was there for both of them." "No," I snapped. "You are not his mother." But Drew wouldn't look at me. "I need to feed him," I said, stepping forward. Amanda didn't move. "Give me my son." She finally placed him in my arms, slowly, like I was unstable, and then walked past me toward the kitchen. "Smells like garlic," she called out. "Did you burn it again?" I couldn't even move. I just stood there, baby in my arms, test results fluttering to the ground. And then something pinged on my phone. A notification from the PetCam app. Motion detected. Nursery. 2:08 p.m. I hadn't been home at 2:08 p.m. Neither had Drew. I tapped it open, dreading what I'd see. The clip loaded, and there she was, Amanda, alone in my nursery, cradling my baby, whispering words the camera couldn't catch, but her lips spelled it out. "Say, Mama. Say it for me." My knees buckled. I hit replay. She wasn't visiting. She was practicing. Cliffhanger. I tapped save on the footage and noticed 3 older videos I hadn't seen before. One labeled First Steps. The file was time-stamped 2 weeks ago. I tapped First Steps, my heart pounding, screen blurring from tears I refused to let fall. The video began in the nursery. My son, his chubby legs wobbling like jelly, clutched the edge of the crib. Then a voice, soft, coaxing. "Come to Mommy." Amanda's voice. The camera caught her crouching a few feet away, arms outstretched, grinning like she'd waited her whole life for this moment. And my baby, took 2 hesitant steps and collapsed into her arms. She kissed his cheeks, sobbing, whispering, "You did it! You did it, baby boy!" My vision tunneled. Not because of the steps, because of the words. "Come to Mommy." This wasn't a one-time drop-off. She'd been here, again and again, alone, recording his milestones, stealing my place. And Drew, he knew. I burst into the kitchen, where they sat laughing over wine like this was their fucking house. "Explain this," I snapped, shoving the phone between their faces. Amanda's smile didn't flicker. Drew just sighed. "You said you needed help," he muttered. "You were working late. You were tired." "You gave her access to the nursery?" "I didn't know she was recording." "She called herself Mommy." Amanda snorted. "He calls everyone Mommy. Your sister, your daycare friend, the barista with the glitter cup. Calm down." "He walked for you." "Oh, honey," she said, her voice syrupy with pity. "He walked for himself." I looked at Drew, praying for a sliver of loyalty. But he just said, "You've been so scattered lately. Maybe this is the wake-up you need." My mouth dropped. Amanda poured more wine. Then she turned to Drew and said, "Did you ever tell her about the wedding?" My stomach flipped. "What wedding?" Drew rubbed his temples. "Don't," I said. "Don't gaslight me. Don't act like I forgot my own wedding date." He reached into the drawer, pulled out the cream-colored envelope, the one from my parents, the one I'd never opened because we'd postponed the ceremony. Pandemic, money, whatever the reason, we'd agreed. Or so I thought. He slid it across the counter. To Drew and Amanda. My name wasn't on the invite. I opened it, numb. The date wasn't ours. It was next month. "Did you RSVP?" I asked, voice cracking. He didn't answer. Amanda twirled her wine glass. "Big church," she said. "His mom insisted." "I thought she hated you." "She did, until I saved Drew." "What does that even mean?" She lifted her shirt, just a little, and revealed the port on her chest. The chemo port. Or what looked like one. Drew looked down, suddenly fascinated with the countertop. "Wait, are you sick?" Amanda lowered her shirt. "Was, for 3 months. Caught it early." No, I shook her head. "He told me you had terminal cancer, that he was just helping an old friend, out of pity." Amanda smirked. "Is that what he said?" "You said you couldn't be near children, that your immune system—" "That was last year." I turned to Drew, screaming now. "You lied!" His voice was flat. "She was sick. I didn't lie." "Terminal means dead." Amanda lowered forward, slow and deliberate. "He never said whose terminal illness." My blood ran cold. She raised her glass in mock toast. "To new beginnings." I slapped it out of her hand. Glass exploded across the tiles. The baby started crying. Drew jumped up. "Jesus, what is wrong with you?" I backed away, heart hammering. "You planned this. The videos, the invite, the baby milestones, all behind my back." "Because you were never really in front," Amanda said gently. "You left the space wide open." Then she pulled out her phone, tapped something. A second later, mine buzzed. AirDrop request. One video from Amanda's iPhone. No preview, just the message. He calls me Mommy now. Cliffhanger. I didn't accept the AirDrop. I didn't need to, because as I stared at my screen in horror, she sent it to my boss instead. The silence that followed was worse than any screaming match, because I knew exactly what Amanda had done. She hadn't just exposed our personal hell, she'd broadcasted it. The AirDrop went to everyone in the vicinity, including my boss, Julia, who was hosting that company retreat brunch just one room over. And she saw the name. Her face said everything: confusion, pity, then slow, dawning judgment. My hands trembled as I snatched my phone and sprinted into the hallway, praying I was wrong, that maybe the AirDrop didn't go through, that maybe it was all a bluff. But my phone buzzed again. Message from Julia. Hey, is everything okay? I think you sent something by mistake. Attached, a thumbnail of Amanda cradling my child, whispering, "Mama loves you," while Drew adjusted the camera angle. I gasped like I'd been sucker punched. Julia didn't know the full story, but she didn't have to. In 20 seconds, Amanda had just made it look like I was the other woman, the absentee, the one not chosen. The narrative flipped. The woman who'd pulled double shifts, bathed the baby while on Zoom calls, pumped milk in airport bathrooms, recast as the careless mother losing her son to another. All because of a fucking AirDrop. I turned back into the room, fire in my chest. Amanda was sitting calmly again, scrolling Instagram like she hadn't just dropped a nuclear bomb into my life. "You did that on purpose," I hissed. She smiled without looking up. "I just shared a memory like any proud stepmom." "You're not a stepmom." "Oh, honey, you really think this custody arrangement's gonna work in your favor after what she just saw?" I lunged for her, and Drew stepped between us. "Enough," he snapped. "This is toxic. You need to leave." I blinked. "Me?" Amanda tsked. "You're escalating. He's protecting the baby." "The baby you manipulated your way into raising?" Drew turned to me, eyes cold. "He doesn't even recognize you anymore." I felt my knees buckle. That was his kill shot. But Amanda wasn't done. She pulled a letter from her purse, real old school, cream envelope, wax seal. She held it out like it was sacred. "What the hell is this?" I snapped. She handed it to Drew. "Tell her," she said. "You should be the one." He swallowed hard, then opened it. I watched his face crumble. "I didn't know she'd already sent it," he muttered. "Sent what?" Amanda leaned forward, her eyes gleaming. "My lawyer's letter for joint custody. I filed for standing on emotional and caregiving grounds." "You're not blood." "Neither are you," she shot back. "Not according to him." I froze. "What do you mean?" Drew's silence was the answer. I backed up. "Say it, out loud." He wouldn't look at me. Amanda would. "The DNA test came back," she said sweetly. "You said it was a formality. But guess what, sweetheart?" She tapped her phone again and read aloud. "Probability of maternity, 0.003%. My stomach dropped. "That's not possible," I choked out. "I carried him. He was inside me for 9 months." Drew finally looked at me. "We used that surrogacy agency when we thought you couldn't, before the reversal worked. Remember? They said there was one embryo left." "No," I whispered. "They must have," he flailed. There must have been a lab mix-up. I didn't know. Amanda smiled with wolfish grace. But I did. Cliffhanger. Because next she pulled out an ultrasound. Not mine. Hers. And whispered, "This one's actually mine. And yours." She placed it gently in Drew's palm. This time, we made sure. "No," I breathed. "That's not possible." But the black and white image in Drew's hand said otherwise. Tiny limbs, crown to rump length labeled in clinical text. Amanda's name stamped neatly in the corner. He held it like it was holy. I snatched it from him, searching for the lie, the Photoshop, the prank. Except it wasn't. It was real. Amanda placed a hand on her stomach, slow and performative. We waited until the second trimester to tell anyone. Miscarriages run in my family, and, well, we didn't want to jinx it. "You absolute psychopath," I spat. "You did this on purpose." "I did it for him," she said softly, looking at the child still watching cartoons in the next room. "He deserves a sibling that's wanted." My knees almost buckled. I wanted to scream, to break something, but my body wouldn't cooperate. It was like my brain was buffering. Drew stepped forward, almost pleading. I didn't know she'd file, or get pregnant, or fuck, Jess, I didn't plan this. But you let it happen. He didn't deny it. I turned and walked out. It wasn't noble. It wasn't strategic. It was survival. I needed air. But survival, it turns out, had a timeline. Because that night, when I checked my inbox, I saw the bomb Amanda had pre-scheduled, sent from her email to my family group chat. Subject, a mother's truth. The attachment, a folder of photos, every one carefully curated to show Amanda playing mom, feeding, rocking, bathing. In each shot, I was cropped out or absent. Some were my photos, taken with my phone. She'd been silently airdropping them during shared custody exchanges, rebuilding her own timeline. My aunt replied first. "Why are we just hearing this now? Is it true?" Then my sister. "Did you even want him?" And then my own mother, with a message that shattered something ancient. "I raised you better." I dropped my phone and sobbed for the first time in weeks. And that's when I remembered the voicemail. Not a voicemail, the voicemail. The one I'd accidentally saved to my computer months ago. The one Drew had left on my birthday, the night he said he was stuck at work. Back when we were still trying. Back when he'd said Amanda was just a friend from the gym. I opened the file and hit play. Static. Then his voice. Low, breathless. "Hey, just wanted to say I miss you. But this isn't what I pictured. I didn't think you'd actually go through with it, keeping it." Silence. Then Amanda's voice, faint but there. "She'll be fine. You're here now. That's what matters." Click. I felt like I was floating outside my body. They'd been planning this. Not just cheating, not just gaslighting. They'd decided, together, to raise a child that wasn't even mine. I opened my texts, started typing, then stopped. What would I even say? There's no emoji for everything you ever believed is a lie. So instead, I did what Amanda never expected. I called her. She picked up on the first ring. "Changed your mind already?" she purred. "Meet me, alone. No Drew, no baby." Pause. Why would I do that? Because I know something you don't. Her breath caught. "Fine. Same cafe as always?" "No," I said. "New place, neutral ground." She agreed. And 20 minutes later, we sat across from each other at a dive diner with bad lighting and worse coffee. She looked smug. I looked calm, but inside, my rage was sharpening. "I listened to the voicemail," I said. Amanda blinked, then smiled. "Took you long enough. You think you've won, but you missed something." I slid my phone across the table and hit play again, only this time it was a new clip from a pet cam. Drew's voice. "I don't care if she finds out. It was your idea to keep her name off the birth certificate." Amanda's voice. "And it was your sperm, remember? I just carried it." Her. "She won't fight it. She can't afford to." Drew. "By the time she figures it out, we'll be in Costa Rica." Her face drained of color. Because that clip had metadata, location, date, time. And I wasn't going to the cops. I was going public. Cliffhanger. I stood up, left her the check, and walked out without a word. Because in 20 minutes, that video was set to upload to every parent group, coworker thread, alumni Facebook group, and most of all, Drew's company Slack. Title of the video? Co-parenting or con game? By the time I got home, my phone was vibrating nonstop. Missed calls, exploding comment sections, screenshots flying in from every direction. Apparently, Drew's boss had seen the video before his lunch break, and HR had already escalated for review. It took exactly 12 minutes for Drew to show up at my door. He looked panicked. His tie was gone. His eyes were bloodshot. "You think that was smart?" he hissed, pushing past me into the hallway. "You just tanked my entire career." "I didn't tank anything," I said calmly. "You two built the Titanic. I just posted the iceberg." He turned, pacing, tugging at his hair. "This isn't just about you. Do you know what you've done to her? To us?" I let the silence do the heavy lifting. "Drew," I finally said, "you lied about whose child I was raising. Amanda faked co-parenting for clout. You let her airbrush me out of my own life, and now you're mad I used your own words to tell the truth?" He stared at me like I was speaking a foreign language. Then he sat down, like his spine gave out all at once. "Do you love her?" I asked. He flinched. "She needed someone," he mumbled. "You always had this boundary. You wanted us to work. She just wanted to belong." "That's not love," I said. "That's manipulation." He buried his face in his hands. "Do you even know who the baby's father is?" Silence. My blood chilled. "Wait, Drew, do you even know if it's yours?" He didn't answer. I took a step back. "Jesus Christ." "I trusted her," he whispered. "I thought—" "Yeah," I cut in. "Me too." He looked up. His expression wasn't guilty. It was terrified. And that's when I knew. Amanda had played us both. I was just the decoy. He was the real Mark. My phone pinged again. A message from a blocked number. "You shouldn't have gone public." Attached was a video. Grainy, shot through glass. It showed my son's school. A black SUV parked outside. A woman in the driver's seat I couldn't quite make out until she turned her head. Amanda. She was watching. Not Drew, not the baby. My child. I called the school, told them to go into lockdown and keep my son inside. I raced over in minutes, heart pounding, scanning every car in the lot. But she was already gone. By the time I got home again, a legal envelope was waiting on my doormat. Custody challenge, filed that morning. By Amanda. She wasn't just trying to erase me. She was trying to replace me. I opened the envelope with trembling fingers. The documents were real. Her lawyer was real. And the affidavit? Sworn statement? Claiming I was mentally unstable. emotionally erratic, and unfit to provide consistent care. Drew's name was all over it, supporting her. I stormed back into the living room holding the papers. "You let her do this?" "I didn't know. She forged our names. She's using your lies. And you're sitting here?" He looked at me like he was underwater. "She said she'd take care of it, said it was just leverage." I laughed, a short, bitter bark of sound. "You still think you're in control?" He didn't respond, but his silence was enough. That night, I didn't sleep. Instead, I dug. Emails, messages, backup photos, anything that might flip the script. And around 3:17 a.m., I found it. Buried in my son's baby photos was a short video clip, just 6 seconds long. Amanda was in the background, laughing, holding a wine glass, 8 months pregnant. I checked the timestamp. She'd claimed to be sober for the health of the baby, but that night, at the very baby shower she hosted in my honor, she was toasted, slurring words, posing for photos, flirting with Drew like I didn't exist. I remembered the toast she gave, how she stood up, clinked her glass, and said, "To family, to choices, and to the ones who stay." Everyone clapped. She looked directly at me and winked. Cliffhanger? That clip? It had location data and a date. And if I could prove she drank while pregnant, lied about paternity, and used me as a legal prop, then I had leverage, real leverage. But first, I had to talk to the real father. I didn't want to believe it, but the baby's birth certificate had a clue I'd missed. The middle name. It wasn't Drew's idea. It wasn't a family name. It was Roman. Roman Novak, a man I'd met once at a work dinner months before Amanda's pregnancy announcement. He sat too close, laughed too loud, and when I introduced myself as Drew's fiancé, he just smirked, like he knew something I didn't. I remembered the way Amanda looked at him that night, too casual, too familiar. I pulled up my contacts and scrolled through the old invite list for that dinner. Roman Novak, executive advisor, corporate liaison, based in Chicago. But his LinkedIn said he'd spent 3 months consulting in our city, right around the time Amanda's baby would have been conceived. I messaged him. No answer. I tried again from a burner email. Subject line, "She said it was yours." He replied in 5 minutes. "Call me." My hands were ice cold as I dialed. "Roman speaking. This is about Amanda," I said, "and the baby." A long pause. Then, I figured this day would come. I didn't breathe. "Are you the father?" He didn't deny it. "I'm the donor. But father? No, that woman never wanted a father. She wanted control." "What do you mean, donor?" I asked, my stomach flipping. "She said she was tired of being alone, that men weren't reliable. She wanted a kid on her terms, said she'd do it the smart way, artificial, clean, anonymous. But she wasn't anonymous, and she definitely wasn't clean." My mouth went dry. "She used you?" I whispered. "She used all of us. I never even met the kid. I signed a waiver. But then I found out she faked a relationship with the guy she lived with. Your fiancé?" "Ex," I snapped. He sighed. "Amanda's smart. Too smart. She knew how to keep everyone just confused enough not to fight back." I pressed record on my second phone, just in case. "Roman, would you be willing to testify?" Another pause. Then a low laugh. "Only if she drags me into it first. Otherwise, I'm not touching that storm cloud." Fair. But I had enough. Enough to challenge her custody filing. Enough to dismantle the performance she curated. Enough to finally reclaim my voice. But Amanda wasn't done yet. That same afternoon, I got a calendar invite from Drew's email. Baby's first birthday, location update. Except we weren't invited. The guest list, it was public. Amanda, Drew, Roman. And me? I was listed as other. I stared at it, shaking. Then I looked closer. The venue? My old childhood park, where my dad used to take me every Sunday, where I told Drew I wanted to get engaged. She was staging a photo op at my memory with my fiancé and not my child. I needed something bigger, something she couldn't control. So I turned to the pet cam. It had been offline for weeks, but the internal SD card had backup footage. I pulled it from the camera, loaded it onto my laptop, and started scrolling. One night, then 2, then 3, and on night 4, there it was, Amanda, in my kitchen, alone, rocking the baby, and saying my name over and over. She doesn't get to win, she whispered to the child. She doesn't even know the game. Another clip. She opened my pantry, took out my vitamins, and dumped them into a Ziploc, then replaced them with look-alike supplements I never bought. Then the voice memo. She picked up Drew's phone, hit record, and whispered, "Make her feel crazy. It's the only way she'll leave." She didn't send it. She saved it under a folder labeled Exit Plan. I backed everything up, and as I closed the laptop, my doorbell rang. I checked the camera. Amanda, holding a gift bag, wearing white, smiling like she'd already won. Cliffhanger. She wasn't there to apologize. She was there to claim me as the godmother of her child.
A godmother? I repeated, blinking so hard my vision blurred. Amanda stood at my doorstep like she was delivering brunch and good news, not nuclear-level manipulation. She wore a silky white dress with puffed sleeves, hair curled like a bridal ad, sunglasses perched on her head like a crown, and in her hands, a pink gift bag with tissue paper exploding out the top. She stepped forward. "You deserve a role, Mia. You've been through so much." She fucking smiled. "Godmother?" I repeated again, dumbfounded. "To a child you tried to pin on my fiancé?" "Tried?" She laughed softly. "No, sweetie, I never tried anything. I just let people assume. You're the one who kept chasing answers. I never made promises." My fingers curled around the doorframe. I had the footage. I had the burner confession. I had the voicemail of her whispering sabotage into my ex's phone. And she was standing here, turning me into a character in her twisted fairy tale. "You drugged me," I said. "I corrected you," she replied. "You were spiraling. The vitamins helped." "You faked cancer." "I never said the word cancer, not once. That's on Drew." "You slept with him?" "And I let you keep him," she said, tilting her head. "That was generous, by the way." She held out the gift bag. I took it, trembling. Inside, a silver rattle, engraved, "To Mia, the mother she'll never deserve." I almost threw it back at her, but then I paused. "She?" Amanda blinked. "You said she'll never deserve. Is the baby a girl?" Amanda's smile faltered. "Because I knew for a fact Drew's baby, if it was his, was a boy." She turned to go. "Wait," I said. "Who's the mother?" She froze. I stepped closer. I did the math. The name, Roman's story, the inconsistencies, the donor, the NDA, and the kicker. I reached into my hoodie pocket and pulled out a second gift bag, Amanda's gift to herself, found in her medicine cabinet the night I came to pick up my things. A sonogram, with a due date that didn't match the birth. She turned back, eyes wide. "It wasn't chemo," I said. "It was a fucking surrogacy cover-up, wasn't it?" Amanda swallowed. I kept going. "You never carried that baby. You staged a fake pregnancy, skipped town, and came back with a child someone else delivered." I leaned forward. "But I know the real mother now." Her lips parted in shock, but I cut her off. "She was your intern, Amanda, wasn't she?" Boom. Amanda stepped back like I'd slapped her. "You groomed her, manipulated her,
promised money, or something worse, and then took the baby like it was a prize. Amanda whispered, "You have no idea what I've done." "I do," I said, holding up my phone, "and so will everyone else in about 5 minutes." I'd already pre-scheduled a Dropbox link to my lawyer, my parents, and Drew, with everything: pet cam, voicemail, burner emails, even Roman's consent letter. Amanda stood frozen. Then, calmly, she dropped her sunglasses back over her eyes. "She wasn't your fiancé's child," she said, "but she was yours. You just didn't want her badly enough." She walked down the steps. My phone buzzed. A new notification. Dropbox link accessed, X3. And then another. Incoming call from Drew. I declined it. Another call. Blocked number. And then a voicemail. I hesitated. Played it. Amanda's voice. From earlier that day. Pre-recorded. She knew I'd dig. Knew I'd uncover everything. "Mia," the voice said, smooth as silk, "you always wanted a story. Just make sure you don't disappear into this one." Click. My knees gave out, and I sat down on the steps, bag in hand. But I didn't cry. I uploaded the voicemail to the Dropbox. Let them all hear it. Let them see the game board finally flipped over. Later that night, Drew showed up at my door, not with flowers, not with apologies, with a paternity test envelope, unopened. He looked shattered. "I need to know," he said. I nodded. We opened it together. 0.00%. Not his. And the intern? She'd left town, filed a restraining order against Amanda. The child was safe, placed into temporary custody. And me? I told my story, every sick, spiraling inch of it. And when I posted the final screenshot, with Amanda's whispering voice in that last voicemail, the internet responded with a new phrase. Overlay text, "That baby wasn't yours either." And for once, it didn't feel like a threat. It felt like the end of the lie.